Tesla created a plethora of inventions with the goal of transmitting energy to the world at little to no cost. In his masterful article, The Problem of Increasing Human Energy, first published in Century Illustrated magazine in June 1900, Tesla discusses the energy situation like never before. After discussing every known method of gathering energy from the natural world, Tesla departs into the unknown. His first discussion is about a machine that could gather heat from the ambient air. He calls it a self-acting engine, since it could run indefinitely from the solar energy stored in the air. He called it the ideal way of obtaining motive power. Tesla worked for years trying to solve all the technical issues presented by the idea. He was convinced that the system could work, and it was absolutely the best way to harness solar energy. On a world that is warming up, tapping ambient sources of heat in the air, water, and ground are the most important technologies to develop at this time. Over the past decade, wireless technology has become a feasible technological product, but its scale had yet to reach the level at which Tesla originally envisioned. While some companies use the concept to create wireless charging devices for cell phones and small electronic devices, Tesla's original intent was to provide a wireless network of power for anyone in the world to tap into. Tesla initially created his Tesla coil in Colorado Springs on Pikes Peak to experiment and test his idea of creating a wireless power grid for the world. There he was given free power from the local utility, as well as funding for his lab. Tesla tested his theory at his Pikes Peak lab, creating electrical arcs that were essentially man-made lightning, seen from miles. Tesla proved with this invention he could wirelessly power light bulbs. This attracted the attention of J.P. Morgan, who offered financing for Tesla's tour de force. The Wardenclyffe Tower in New York, a massive magnifying transmitter also known as a high-power harmonic oscillator. The Wardenclyffe Tower was built to be 187 feet tall and anchored 300 feet into the ground. When Marconi beat Tesla at wireless radio transmission across the Atlantic, Tesla changed his plan for the Wardenclyffe Tower to transmit free energy to all the world. The energy was created by traditional means and cost money to generate, but Tesla's tower intended to make it possible to transmit the power for free by creating a channel between the Earth and the ionosphere for anyone to tap into. Aside from needing more money to accomplish this, J.P. Morgan was threatened at the prospect of free energy. After all, he was a titan of his industry in copper, a major conductor of electricity, as well as a capitalist whose work centered around from profiting from others. While it apparently hasn't been activated since the Soviet era, there is a massive Tesla tower in Russia that is still functional. Not much is known about the compound, called the High Voltage Marks and Tesla Generators Research Facility in the middle of a forest 40 miles outside of Moscow. The facility can supposedly generate enough electricity to power the entire country for a period of a millionth of a second. The operation costs of the tower are said to be very high. While the practicality of the facility might be part of the reason why it's inoperable, it is intriguing nonetheless. What else could potentially be gleaned from this facility if it were given funding to operate again? A less benevolent example of the modern use of the science behind Tesla's theory of wireless energy transmission is a government project in the US called HARP. While Tesla realized the altruistic utility of the ionosphere as a transmitter for radio waves and energy, the US military is likely studying it for more sinister purposes. So what is being studied at HARP, run by multiple branches of the military in the middle of nowhere in Alaska? chances seem to be good that it is not related to free wireless energy to be dispersed globally. Conspiracies surrounding the program range from death rays to EPM shockwaves for disabling weapons and radar systems to weather control. And these fears aren't solely held by American and Canadian citizens. The European Union also called for more transparency with HAARP and the experiments conducted there. It's evident that Tesla's unfulfilled vision of wireless energy transmission has not been completely buried and could still come to fruition in some form or another.